Oh, hey there. So this house is almost done. We just clear coated the second coat and we've got all the lights off right now. Tomorrow we're gonna get in toilets and we are going to get the heat and air all finished up. Bob and Tropic are gonna come out and do that. And we're gonna finish up the granite, and the next day they're putting in septic, and then we'll get the driveway in and then do final dirt work and grass seed and we'll be done. So that's very exciting. We did this one pretty quick. I think record time, or at least tied with the one next door, so that's good. Now, a lot of people are not buying houses right now, and let me tell you part of the reason why, okay? Part of the reason why they're not buying houses is because interest rates are higher than they have been recently, and they're afraid of that, and there's this false promise that interest rates are going to go back down, and so everybody's holding off for interest rates to go back down, and they're not buying houses. Let me tell you why this isn't smart, okay? If you look at interest rates over the last 50 years, they've pretty much always been where they are now. It's just during COVID, nobody was spending any money, and they brought them down ridiculously low, at which point everybody bought and got used to that, and then they went back up to normal, okay? So they're not gonna go back down super low unless there's a major crisis, which we're not hoping for that. We're hoping for a non-major crisis. Now, let's just say that interest rates do go back down and you bought the house now at a higher interest rate. Then you refinance. Now, somebody asked me the other day, what does that mean, right? They kind of looked at me like, I don't understand these words that are coming out of your mouth. And that makes sense to me that you wouldn't understand. So let me just paint this like a really easy picture, okay? Imagine that I want to borrow money to buy this house, and then there's a mortgage company or a bank, and I go to that mortgage company and bank and I say, hey, what interest rate will you give me? And they tell me 8% or whatever it is, and I agree. And then I buy the house at, this house is $469, and then I'm paying 8% interest per year, and it's, calculated daily, blah, blah. It's, if you don't have money, they charge you for money. That's how it works, but it gets you in a nice house and you get equity and so on and so forth. Now, let's say that interest rates go down to 2%. You're like, I could save 6% a year, and that's significant, okay? Like, if you could, which I don't think you will, but let's just say it went down 6%, on this house you would save a lot of money a year, right? Tens of thousands of dollars in interest. At which point, then you go to your bank and you say, obnoxious, you say, hey, I'd like to refinance my house. And they're like, okay. And if they won't do it, then you go to another mortgage company, you say, hey, I'd like to refinance this house. And they say, okay. And basically what happens is they pay off the loan that you have, and then you have a loan to them at a lower interest rate, okay? And so you got to buy the house at a lower price because the market was bad. And then later on, if interest rates do go down, then you refinance it and you get the lower interest rate. But you bought it while it was cheap, because right now, everybody's kind of desperate to sell a house. And so what happens is if there's a lot of inventory and less buyers, then prices go down. That's supply and demand. And if there's a lot of buyers and not much inventory, then prices go up. And that was what, the last couple of years has been that. And now all of a sudden, everybody's afraid to buy. But that is why it is a smart time to buy a house right now, is because you can buy it for less. The price will go up, okay? The price will go back up. Maybe eventually interest rates go back down. And if they do, good for you, refinance. Also, and here's a good tip, if you pay bi-weekly instead of monthly on your mortgage payment, okay, you can knock 15 years off your loan. Now, let me tell you what that means. Let's say that your mortgage is $2,000 a month, which is a very, very low interest, or very low mortgage payment. And instead of paying $2,000 a month, you pay $1,000 every 2 weeks. You knock 15 years off your loan. And the amount of interest that is ungodly. Like, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And you don't pay any more, you just pay bi-weekly instead of monthly. And so that is a smart thing to do. If you're looking to save money, that is a way to save money. If you can afford to make bigger payments, that is a way to save money. In fact, if you can afford to double your house payments, which a lot of people cannot, but if you can, then you will pay your 30-year mortgage off in 5 years. And I know this because I've done this, okay? I stopped counting at 100 houses, and the longest it's taken me to pay a house off was 3.5 years. And this not because I came from money. Like, I was poor, and I did the math, I looked at the amortization chart, and I was like, I don't want to pay all this interest. And so I was like, how can I pay this off quicker? How can I sacrifice and do this. And people go, I can't afford to make bigger payments. I'm like, you can't afford not to make bigger payments. It's important, right? This is a huge amount of money. So take it seriously, sacrifice for a little bit, and then for the rest of your life, you own your house. And if you want to upgrade, then sell that, and you got a ton of equity that you put into your next house. So I hope that this helps you understand. If you have any questions about this, I am happy to help. Okay, I'm happy to help, because I want you guys to be in a house because it makes sense financially. You're gonna have pride of ownership. You're gonna have your own place. As inflation goes up, which it will go up, then you have frozen your mortgage at this rate, right? And every way you look at it, it is smart to buy a house right now. So if you want to buy one of mine, I have 4 for sale right now, and they range between $299 and $469, which is very reasonable, and they're all brand new. They've got, everything is nice in them, and definitely worth it. So holler at me, or if you don't want to do that, then buy a different house. But I think this is a smart time to buy a house. Love you guys.